إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعين به ونستهديه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا وحبيبنا محمدا عبده ورسوله اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد وبارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد أما بعد فقد قال الله عز وجل في كتابه المجيد ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس ليذيقهم بعض الذي عملوا لعلهم يرجعون وقال الله عز وجل وإذا مرضت فهو يشفين وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم ما أنزل الله داء إلا أنزل له شفاء وقال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم اللهم إني أعوذ بك من البرص والجنون والجذام وسيء الأسقام. Amma ba'du, my dear respected brothers, sisters, scholars, ulama, hafadha, respected members of the community, bifadlillahi azza wa jal, by the grace and mercy of Allah, we have once again gathered in this masjid with no other intention than to worship Allah, for which we are endlessly grateful. Walhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Our discussion today will be on a few different topics, as it is very important to cover some of the concerning and important topics that are widespread and that concerns all of us as a Muslim community, and it's also for information and for us to be cautious and for us to make dua for these situations, for these problems and for one another. The first of them is, as you know, the worldwide spread of the coronavirus COVID-19, which comes, in fact, the coronavirus is a type of viruses, and the one that's now become widespread starting from Wuhan in China is been named COVID-19. It started from China, then spread throughout that region, went into neighboring countries, and some of the worst cases have been in China and also outside of China. And so it's something that's quite concerning for all of us, for us to know what the symptoms are and how to try and limit the spread of this disease and how to treat it as well, inshallah azza wa jal. For your information also, that the Saudi Arabian government has temporarily stopped all Umrah pilgrimage to Mecca and Medina for this reason. And so it's really important that we know what the symptoms of this COVID-19 coronavirus is. First of all, from the symptoms is that if you are experiencing a high temperature alongside with a cough, alongside with shortness of breath, then there is a risk. It could be anything else, it could be any normal cold or flu, but there's that chance also, especially if you've been to China or any of the neighboring countries recently. If you feel like you are suffering from this disease, then you should not go to the doctors or to the A&E. You should call 111 and speak to them and explain your situation, and they will advise you from there what to do. These are some of the symptoms that you should be aware of, and to take precaution and to actively make an effort if you do feel like you're suffering from that. As for limiting and preventing the spread of it, the NHS and the government, they all advise that you shouldn't go into close contact with anybody else if you are suffering from this, and also to make sure that when you sneeze or cough, that you use a tissue to prevent the spreading of the virus or the disease. Now, this is something that's from the basic adab and manners and akhlaq, which is prophetic, which is Islamic. And now it is even more important to make sure that when you do cough or sneeze, especially in a public space, especially at home even, to protect your family members, you should use a tissue so that it does not spread. So that's the first thing we can do, use a tissue when we sneeze or cough. Secondly, also to make sure you wash your hands regularly. If you can use a hand sanitizer, is also important. As for public spaces like masjids or schools or madrasas or any public space, it's really important to give information to people as to how they should behave or know what to do if something like this happens. There is something called a coronavirus public information poster, which you can download from online and have it hanging in various parts of the public space so that people know as well. It's also a responsibility upon all of those who are managing public spaces to ensure that generally, of course, all of the time, that our bathrooms and our wash facilities are regularly cleansed and cleaned and disinfected. Okay, even more so now. So now, if you have a water fountain, to try and arrange for disposable cups as opposed to reused cups, so that we can again try to prevent that. As well as if you have towels, and most places do have towels for usage after washing your face or wudu and etc., try to make them paper towels, disposable towels, as opposed to cloth towels which are used so many times by so many different people. In addition to that, also to have hand towels or hand tissues available to everybody throughout the public space, and to instruct people to, as we have done now, to use those tissues and to bin them as well as soon as they've used them, and that those bins are also regularly changed, that they wash their hands and etc. These are some of the safety measures that we should and can take, inshallah azza wa jal. Also to wash your face or to rinse your nose and etc. These are some of the things that we can do. To drink water regularly. We ask Allah Azza wa Jalla to keep us all safe and protected, and to give shifa to those who have been affected, and to prevent the spreading of this disease further. But all of these instructions that we listen to, it sort of reminds you of something. Wash your hands, clean your nose, and etc. It reminds you of wudu. And subhanAllah, it goes to show once again the beauty of this deen, of this sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, of tahara. Allah says in the Quran, Inna Allah yuhibbu at-tawabina wa yuhibbu al-mutatahhirin. Allah loves those who do tawbah, meaning cleanse themselves internally, and those who cleanse themselves externally too by tahara. And the prophetic sunnah was, of course, very, very clean. The sunnah of miswak, the sunnah of washing your hands, and of course wudu. This wudu entails and includes all of this. Washing your hands 3 times, gargling your mouth, washing your nose, washing your face. To have water after the wudu is also a part of the sunnah of the wudu. So this goes to show once again the beauty of our deen, alhamdulillah. If we could practice this just via the wudu, alhamdulillah, is a very, very great, prevention measure that we can take. That was in regards to coronavirus. There are a few more topics that I feel we should discuss and we should know. We should know that at the moment across the world there are a lot of people suffering. Starting from an old issue of Palestine, and it's repetitive and it's ongoing. Just because we don't speak about it every time, it does not mean that the Palestinian people are not persecuted, are not oppressed. This is ongoing. It is very important that every Muslim and every person, every human being knows of what's happening. At least knows. To at least pray for these people and their safety, and that they are not oppressed, and the oppression and the oppressors are stopped, or they stop themselves and they change their ways. The struggles of Syria, it's ongoing for many years now, especially Idlib right now. 3 million people stuck in a small town. Most of them, or a third of them, 1 million of them, according to reports, are children. And it's become the forefront of attacks from both sides, both the Syrian army and also the oppositions. And that's a political discussion. My concern, our concern, is the innocent people that are suffering, children and women, who did not ask for this war. They didn't subscribe to this violence, and yet they are the most affected. And so for us to know about this, for our hearts to cry about this, for us to make dua about this, is the minimal responsibility that we all have. The situation of our brothers and sisters, the Uyghurs, who are in concentration camps. It's not a distant historic story, it's not a tale, it's right now. Up until right now, 2 million. 2 million. That's a huge number. That's the number of an entire population of a country in many cases. 2 million Muslims are in concentration camps, being persecuted, being forced and coerced to do things, to change their ways, to change their faith, to change their ideology, to change their mentality. This is something, let not anybody forget about this. Know about this. Know about what's happening, so that you can make dua about it, so you can feel the weight and the burden and the responsibility of this ummah, because the Prophet ﷺ has taught us that this ummah is like one body. The least we can do is feel the pain of that other part of our huge body of this ummah. Let's not also forget the situation of the Yemeni Muslims, brothers and sisters, youngsters, children, women, suffering from famine, from a lack of provision, and the ongoing war, which is, again, they did not ask for it. Those who are affected most are the ones who didn't even ask for it. They never had no choice in it. And yet they are dragged into it. Let's not forget about them too. Let's make dua for them. The situation of the Kashmiri Muslims. Kashmir has been on lockdown for a long time, and the ongoing issue. And they are again persecuted time and again. The least we can do is not to forget to remember them, to make dua for them. And of late, we know the situation of Delhi, New Delhi, which has become a disastrous situation now under the leadership of Narendra Modi, the leader of the BJP party, a Hindu nationalist party which has led its crimes and violence against peaceful protests that were being held by Muslims because they were contesting and protesting against the Citizenship Amendment Bill, which changed from December 2019. And instead they are now continuously being attacked, killed, homes destroyed, innocent people attacked. And we see this across social media. These are not things which are secrets, these are open. And it's very important that we as Muslims feel that pain, know what's happening, make dua for them. Make dua for them, feel that pain, speak to people. If you have any political influence, anything you can do, it is very important that we exercise the maximum of our ability and our talents to try and help these situations, because these are our responsibilities, these are our people. We say to those who are oppressed that wallahi, wallahi, your du'as, between your dua and Allah Azza wa Jal, there is no curtain. Whatever you make dua for, Allah Azza wa Jal will accept. And we say to them that our hearts are with you, and we know about your pains, and we are praying for you. We have not forgotten you at all. And we say to those who are the perpetrators of these oppressions, these people who are actively leading these kind of aggression against all people, you are in the wrong, and you are being watched too. Just like Allah Azza wa Jalla is watching the oppression that you are carrying out, or the oppressed and their du'as are being watched, you are also being very, very closely watched. Allah says in the Quran, Surah Ibrahim, we spoke about this before. وَلَا تَحْسَبَنَّ اللَّهَ غَافِلًا عَمَّا يَعْمَلُ الظَّالِمُونَ. Do not for a moment think Allah doesn't know what the Zalimin are doing. Allah is very much aware. Allah allows them so that they become incriminated by their own crimes. And so take lesson from this. This should not carry on. We are human beings. We are much better beyond and above this kind of behavior. We should not be killing and persecuting and massacring. This pogrom that's taking, it should not be happening. We should have learned from history. It's happened again and again. What Hitler done, what others have done around him, before him, after him. What Fir'aun done, what Haman done, what Nimrud done. These are old stories. We should have learned by now as human beings. Allah has given us intellect to understand. And we should all take lesson from this as well. In our local capacities, that we should never, ever, we should be very careful not to oppress anybody, not to harm anybody. We are very careful about our salah and our ibadat and our rituals. We should be equally careful about oppressing, harming, insulting, abusing, offending somebody to that extent. We should be careful not to do these things, because these are very, very huge issues in the sight of Allah. You might think, إذ تلقونه بألسنتكم وتقولون بأفواهكم ما ليس لكم به علم وتحسبونه هينا. This is of course talking about a particular context, but the concept is that when you are insulting somebody, you think it's something small. وَهُوَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ عَظِيمٌ is very great according to Allah Azza wa Jal. And so to be careful to know. And the last thing I want to speak about, inshallah, we'll speak again, as I promised you before, about the RSE curriculum changes that are going to happen from September 2020. At this stage, there are still consultations happening in schools. So every single parent should be involved in this. There is a website called Tahamlet's Parents Association. Please subscribe to it, read on it, know what's going on, and be involved with your child's education. Speak to your head teacher, speak to your parent governors. Say, are you going to facilitate for our faith and cultural sensitivities? Are you going to ensure that it is delivered in an age-appropriate manner? These are questions we need to ask our schools. Inshallah, we'll speak about it again. Bi-idhnillah azza wa jalla. May Allah give us the ability. May Allah accept from all of us. Allahumma wa aqulu qawli hadha wa astaghfirullah li wa lakum. نحمد الله حمد الشاكرين ونصلي ونسلم على النبي الكريم محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. وارض اللهم عن الخلفاء الراشدين أبي بكر وعمر وعثمان وعلي وعن سائر أصحاب نبيك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم، وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم. اللهم ربنا ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. اللهم اشف مرضانا ومرضى المسلمين وارحم موتانا وموتى المسلمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في جميع البلاد يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين في اليمن وفي الشام وفي فلسطين وفي كشمير وفي الصين وفي الهند يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا الله احفظهم من كل سوء وشر يا رب العالمين. اللهم ألف بين قلوبنا وأصلح ذات بيننا يا رب العالمين. اللهم أيد الإسلام والمسلمين. اللهم يا الله ربنا هب لنا من أزواجنا وذرياتنا قرة أعين واجعلنا للمتقين إماما. اللهم أمنا في بلادنا وفي أوطاننا يا رب العالمين. وصل اللهم وسلم على نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين، وأقم الصلاة. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. إن للمتقين مفازا حدائق وأعنابا وكواعب أترابا وكأسا دهاقا لا يسمعون فيها لغوا ولا كذابا جزاء من ربك عطاء حسابا رب السماوات والأرض وما بينهما الرحمن لا يملكون منه خطابا يوم يقوم الروح والملائكة صفا لا يتكلمون إلا من أذن له الرحمن وقال صوابا ذلك اليوم الحق فمن شاء اتخذ إلى ربه مآبا إنا أنذرناكم عذابا قريبا يوم ينظر المرء ما قدمت يداه ويقول الكافر يا ليتني كنت ترابا. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فإذا جاءت الطامة الكبرى يوم يتذكر الإنسان ما سعى وبرزت الجحيم لمن يرى فأما من طغى وآثر الحياة الدنيا فإن الجحيم هي المأوى وأما من خاف مقام ربه ونهى النفس عن الهوى فإن الجنة هي المأوى يسألونك عن الساعة أيان مرساها فيم أنت من ذكراها إلى ربك منتهاها إنما أنت منذر من يخشاها كأنهم يوم يرونها لم يلبثوا إلا عشية أو ضحاها. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.